with a fly ball out. And the Cardinals' last hit was a double by Pedro Pais in the 5th inning. Their last base runner, a walk to Donovan in the 6th. Nothing after that. The Reds win 3-1.
First of a 4-game series against the Reds goes the way of Cincinnati. It is the Gashouse Gang. We welcome you in today, brought to you by Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. And that is the sponsor of our conversation with manager Oliver Marmol, who joins us every Tuesday on the show. It's Bernie Miklas, Tom Ackerman, and me, Chris Ranji. Ollie is on the show today. How's it going, Ollie Marmol?
Doing well. How we doing, boys?
I think we're doing okay. We heard the loss, and I know that a lot of people are wondering about the troubles on the road. And I know you've been asked a lot about this, but as the days go by, do you feel like you have a clearer answer?
No, there's no answer to it. I mean, this is no different than last year when they wanted to talk about for weeks at a time that we were couldn't win the first game of a series, and that went on for a while until it was no longer a topic, and we started winning first games of series, and then they moved on to the next thing. So no, there's nothing to point at from a preparation standpoint, from a player standpoint, where there's something indicating why we should not have success on the road. It's just baseball being baseball in a small sample, and we'll keep rolling.
Ollie, Bernie, thanks as always for doing this. Appreciate it. The first 9 games of the season, your offense was electric. I mean, you were just pounding home runs. I mean, everything was going great. And obviously it wasn't going to be sustainable to that extent. But the last 20 games have been really slow. I mean, I don't read the numbers to you. You know what they are. It's been really, really tough. The power's kind of dropped. A lot of other things have dropped. And I'm wondering, I'm looking at this and I'm still trying to figure out what your offensive identity is. And part 2 of that, what do you want that identity to be? Because there really hasn't been much of an identity lately.
I disagree. I think there is an identity, but it's a young group that's going to have its ups and downs, right? Like when you look at some of the power, Herrera was a big part of doubles and homers during the time he was with us. We were missing his bat. That's a real bat. And then you look at some of the other. Contreras has not found his rhythm to the degree that he's wanted to. We're not seeing the same power from a Nolan. And then the rest of the guys, you look at Walker and Vic and Mason. These are guys that we expect to have like real ups and downs as they start to figure out the league. You look at how Walker's being pitched today compared to how he was pitched when he hit 16 homers with us and he first got up to the big leagues. There's a big difference there, and that's what this league will do. It'll test you to see if you're capable of making adjustments, and we're going to have those ups and downs of these guys trying to figure out how to make those adjustments in real time. You can send guys out, but that defeats the purpose of what we're trying to do and giving them some real run here to see if they're capable of doing those things. So we have to stay positive with them. I get it. Identity, however we want to describe it. The guys have done a good job of taking good at bats. Different guys are struggling with different things, and we can go down that list. I'm happy to do that while we're together for the next 30, 40 minutes. But it's hard to just say one blanket statement of why we're not having success offensively over the last couple games or whatever the case may be. Yeah.
Just to follow up, over the last 20 games, like you've averaged about 0.5 home runs per game. I mean, that's not going to be enough to power your way to a lot of wins. So when a manager, any manager, goes through something like that, you know, how do you adjust? Do you try to do some things differently to try to just kind of push for runs rather than waiting for someone to hit a homer? I know there was a sacrifice bunt last night attempt that got the fans riled up. But what do you do, like when you just have a sense the home runs are not going to be coming in any large number for a while?
When you say riled up, I've not tuned in, so fill me in, Bern.
Well, you're wise to stay off social media. That's all I'll say. You know, and of course, you know what? I'll stick up for you in this regard, and I'm not being a phony because I also said this on social media myself. Cardinals fans love to talk about small ball, manufacture runs, small ball. But then when a sacrifice bunt blows up, then they want the manager taken into custody. So, I mean, I don't know what, I don't know what, but just, I was trying to interject some levity there, but no, so on a serious note though, what do you try to do? Do you try to guard against overreacting by maybe getting overly aggressive with some of the smaller stuff?
Yeah, because what you tend to do, and it's interesting because you talk to other managers and they'll tell you the same thing. Like when you try to force the issue, when you're not scoring runs, you're not hitting homers, you're not hitting doubles, you try to force the issue and you end up putting on some hit and runs that don't work, and you just end up running into more outs. And that's we can't give up outs, especially when you're not hitting. So sometimes you try to force the issue and create something that's not there, and it ends up getting you differently. So no, man, like you look at our lineup and where certain guys are, and we're just gonna have to wait for those adjustments to take place. There is no other option here. We'll switch a couple things up today from a lineup standpoint just to give it a little bit different look and inject some energy. But no, from start hitting and running, bunting more, whatever the case may be, like we need certain guys to get going, and hopefully sooner than later. So that's just how offense works, man.
Is that what you were trying to do there, Ollie? You had Mason Wynn dropping down a bunt. Pages was at second, Scott at first. Are you just trying to get a spark lit into a fire there? Try to get something going?
Do you like the way Newpar's swinging it?
He hit the ball hard, didn't he? Into and out, but he hit the ball hard.
Would you like a runner on second and third with him up?
I would love the runner on second and third with him up. The only drawback would be that you had Pages doesn't have a lot of speed at second. But if Mason puts down a good bunt there, he can get there.
You make the third baseman field it.
That's what I mean.
And you're totally fine.
Yeah,
okay.
Totally. He puts down the right bunt and makes the third baseman play it. It's a done deal.
Yep, and it didn't work, and you keep moving. So we can sit here and nitpick those little things. The reality is third baseman fields that ball. There's no one on third. It doesn't matter if Bernie's running, like you're saying.
So. Got that right. Yeah. Actually, I think it would matter, Ollie. Yeah, I think it probably would matter. But anyway.
Yeah, well, no. Just to be clear, I'm not nitpicking. I'm just asking for that explanation.
And that's the thing. Like it wasn't a bad bunt. If it's harder, it's a perfect bunt. Trevino makes a nice play. He goes to third with it. You let Mason swing there, and he smokes the same ball Newpar did, right? One hopper, hard on the barrel, right at the shortstop. They turn a double play. Then you're asking me why not bunt and let one of the best hitters on our team taking that bat with the runner second and third. It's a matter of execution, not a matter of process here.
So Bernie brought up the idea of power and the fact that it just hasn't been there. I mean, how long can you wait for it before you really do start to feel desperate, like you need something to happen? Because the team right now is what, at 21st or 22nd in terms of home runs. And yeah, it's not the only way to win, but you know, that a lot of the teams at the end of the year when they're in the playoffs or fighting for the playoffs, they hit a lot of home runs. So at what point do you get impatient enough where you do something about it or try to do something about it?
What do you...
I mean, I don't know what there is to do.
No, that's what I would ask you. Like, what do you want me to do? When it comes to power, right? Guys either hit for power and drive the baseball and hit doubles and homers, but from a do something standpoint, if you can elaborate, I'm happy to answer. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a matter of Nolan Gorman making more contact, and when he does, the ball leaves the ballpark. It's Nolan Arenado getting his swing off and doing the things that we've seen him do for a long time. Wilson he's going to come along, man. We're not going to continue to see what we've seen over the last several weeks. Like, he will hit. It's a matter of when. But I have confidence in those things happening. There is no magic button you hit where it's going to happen tonight or tomorrow. It's just, that's not the way this game works. You continue to put those guys out there, support them, continue to allow them to play with confidence, but to say, do something about the power. If you have a suggestion, I'm all ears.
Yeah, I have no suggestions at all. I was more wondering from a perspective of feeling like helpless in a way, or desperate. It's like you got to do something, so you do something that maybe is not rational. I don't really know. That's more what I was getting at.
No, that's reactive. I mean, we have to continue to let these guys do their thing, and I have a lot of confidence in our hitting department. If someone has Brent Brown in that group, Hackey and they're doing a nice job. They really, really are. And we have to stick to the process. Like if you look at Jordan Walker is young and he's going to be good. He's going through a period of adjustment. You can say, man, when he first got here, this guy lit it up, 16 homers, hit 270, like good OPS, like it was very promising. Well, guess what? No different than Vic. Like the league will adjust to you. If you start looking at his heat maps of where pitches were thrown when he first got to the league compared to what it looks like today, it's night and day, right? Like the league starts to see what can you hit, what can you not hit, and they double down on that, and that's all he's seeing right now. If you look at the spray chart, it's just the heat map. It is fastballs up and in to tie him up, and then that slider down and away, right? So is it mechanics? Is it approach? It's a combination of both, but it's going to take a real adjustment for him to start to hone in the strike zone, not offer, and stick to what he can actually do damage on. So as the league adjusts to you, that's the hardest thing about it. It's not getting to the big leagues, it's staying in the big leagues. It's very difficult, right? So like he's going to, and I believe it, I really do believe in this kid. Like he's smart and he is working extremely hard. It's just going to take a little bit of time. But when it clicks for him and he starts laying off of that pitch up and in and that slider down and away, then they're going to have to come in the zone a little more. And that's when he's going to start doing some more damage. But until that happens, like we have to let it run its course. Vic's no different. Vic came up here last year, Victor Scott. What did that look like?
Yeah, struggled.
Not good.
Yeah. Has he made an adjustment?
Looks like it.
Yeah. Right. Like he's chasing less. The batted ball profile looks very different. He's hammering fastballs. They're on a line. They're not on the ground as much. Like he's done a lot of things that have helped him. And the league is going to make an adjustment, and he's going to have to flip it again and make an adjustment. So that's the name of this game. Right now, we're in a spot where these young guys, and we knew what we were getting into, are going to have to start to make these adjustments in order to survive and then thrive at the big league level. It's just what it is.
Tom Ackerman's going to ask you a question about the famous runway, because that's like kind of the word of the year. But so I'm going to be a good teammate and let Tom ask that. In fact, Tom, why don't you go ahead and ask it, and then I'll jump in after that.
Just kind of on that topic, with Gorman and Walker, allowing them to fail is part of this, isn't it? I mean, is that kind of what you're trying to accomplish here? Like you want them out there learning along the way, and it's okay to say you're allowing them to fail along the way.
Yes, it's going to be part of the process. It really is. And the goal is for that not to linger for too long, for them to make adjustments and then start to take steps in the right direction. But there is going to be a period where that's going to happen. And being patient during that time is difficult because we're not used to it. And we're used to saying, all right, you've had X amount of weeks of just not up to par performance. We'll flip you. You go work on this on Memphis, and we get somebody else up that can perform. But that's the opposite of what the organization has communicated wanting to do this year. Like we want real clarity at the end of this year as to what we have with Gorman. What do we have with Walker? What do we have with Newborn, Donovan? Go down the list of Herrera. And this is what we're trying to find out, because in the same way that you're getting frustrated or wanting to react is the same reason someone will leave the organization after not getting a real opportunity and then hit in stride and go, man, I wish he would have done that here. Well, guess what? That takes time, and you have to allow that process to take place. As frustrating as it is, I get it.
Does the runway for this season, is there anything that would change your view of either Walker or Gorman or both? And just so you know, I completely support this idea of letting these guys play. That's what this season's supposed to be about. But will it ever get to a point where, to use a boxing term, the corner's got to stop the fight? Like, what does that look like for you in terms of what would you have to see to stop the fight?
Yeah, if you feel like you're losing them mentally, right? There's times where, like Jordan Walker right now is is fighting. He's working hard. He's confident in what he's working on. And it's just not coming into play just yet. But the conversations have been super positive. His demeanor and overall approach towards how he does his cage work and everything leading into the game has been very positive. When you get to a point where you feel like you're losing the player mentally, meaning like he's defeated and no longer has an answer for, or is tired of the fight, of the scrutiny of the big league level, right? Because that's what comes with the big, like when you're doing this at the big league level, someone's writing about you every night. Someone's sitting on a radio show for hours on end, just talking about your failures, right? And it wears on you as a young player when you feel like, man, it's taking its toll, or they're starting to talk defeated. Then at that point, you make sure you don't lose the player, put them in an environment where they can go ahead and work on things at the AAA level where that scrutiny isn't nearly as high. I will say that we're not anywhere close to that at the moment based on how they're communicating, feeling, or approaching their work on a daily basis. But is there a time for that? Yes, there is. And you're basing it off of what you know about the player and their personality and their ability to handle failure.
Gashouse Gang
question.
Gashouse Gang is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. A little bit to go with the manager, Oliver Marmol, here. We've got Bernie Miklasz, Tom Ackerman, and Chris Ranji on 104.1 FM KMOX.
You had a solid retirement dream, sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. What if you could bank that equity right now? With Truehold, you can sell your home for its current value so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. Truehold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since Truehold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit Truehold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours, based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or ConsumerCellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Are you a small business owner who needs immediate cash flow? At Swish Funding, we have flexible funding options from $25,000 to $2 million. For the best rates and terms for your business, just one application to Swish Funding gives you access to our entire network of funders, with cash in your account in as little as 24 hours. To qualify, you must be in business for at least 1 year with monthly revenue of $50,000. Apply at swishradio.com and use code RADIO. swishradio.com, code RADIO.
The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays starting at 9 on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Got a 2-2 count here on Hayes, and the swing and a miss. He got him to chase a slider, and boy, did he chase big time there, as that pitch was never a strike, and 4 strikeouts now for Andre, who looks sharp.
Our conversation with Oliver Marmol, sponsored by Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. We got the manager on the Gashouse Gang with Bernie and Tom Ackerman and me, Chris Ranji.
Ollie, you mentioned in the last segment that maybe you were going for a different look today just to get things going. I'm curious about, I don't know if he's in the lineup or not, but I'm curious your thoughts on Jose Barrero. I as you know, asked you about him, I feel like a million times when we were down in Jupiter. He was really interesting to watch. He's a talent. What do you see for him on this club?
Yeah, the move was largely based on getting to JC playing time, right? Mm-hmm. When you look at, we knew we could get him 2 games in that Milwaukee series. Looking at this series, it was going to be more difficult. Knowing that we're wanting to give Gorman a decent amount of playing time in the DH and at second base. So for a young kid who's 22, 23 years old to sit on the bench at the big league level and not play every day isn't going to be the best for his development. So we wanted to make sure we got JC down in AAA where he can play every day and stay ready in case of an injury to come back up and help us. So that puts Guerrero on the roster with us. And this is a super athletic kid. Plays really good defense, man. Plays a really nice shortstop. You can throw him in center field, feel good about it. You can throw him all over the field and feel pretty confident he's going to do the job. His biggest thing is going to be contact rate. This is a guy that over his career has shown flashes of being able to drive the baseball and do some pretty neat things, but the swing and miss is there, and that's something he's been working hard at. But yeah, we'll try to get him in there from time to time. Tomorrow we're going to see a lefty, so there's a chance he gets out there and go from there. But to your point, super athletic, really good looking player.
Ollie, I wanted to ask you this. It's we all know what this season is supposed to be about, but of course everybody wants to win. The fans want to see you win. Yeah. You know, and when some games get away, it's especially frustrating. But what I wanted to ask is, how do you reconcile where you sit in terms of what this season's supposed to be about, but the competitive part of it? Like, for example, you're playing the Reds, okay? They went out in the offseason. They got three dudes that are really helping them offensively: Trevino, Lux, and Hayes. You know, big-time contributions. Now, this is at a different level, but the Cubs went out and got Kyle Tucker, and and he's been phenomenal. But sometimes I wonder if you just have enough good dudes. And I know you're committed to teaching and bringing the younger guys along, but does it ever frustrate you? You look across the way, and I said, I wish I had some help like that guy got, or whatever. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
No, I do know what you're saying. It's a fair question. It is. I don't let myself go there because what I think we're building towards is better than anything that's going to be in our division. And I do believe that. Is it going to be this year? Probably not. But we are building towards that. You give Newt and Donnie and Herrera and Mason and these guys another year of experience in the big leagues, understanding some of the things that they do that leads to inconsistency, and you start to shorten those periods of times where they go into their slumps and you continue to make progress. I love the way we're playing defense. Okay. You continue to pound that into them, the fundamentals of the game, playing the game the right way, not giving up any outs, not giving up extra bases, taking every damn inch they give us across the way. It's more of a compliment to our group, to be quite honest with you, with what you just said. This is the way I would answer it. That we've been in every game. If you look at 23, like there's times where we just got blown out early. We never fought back, and we just weren't in many games. This group is different in the sense of they will fight. And I like the style of play. Now, has it clicked offensively? Like yesterday's game, you want to be able to win that game 5-3 and shake hands and go home. You want to jump on Nick Martinez early. You get those doubles in the first inning and just build off of that, get him out of the game by the fifth and get in their pen and not see the guys we had to see in their back end last night, because those were real arms with real strikeout stuff, right? So I will say when you look across the way and other teams made a lot more moves, like sure, they'll benefit from that this year. We are going to run our guys out there and continue to develop them. But I'm not just saying this, Bernie, like I really like where our young guys are headed and what they're going to be capable of doing in the upcoming years. I really do. And that goes for guys that are with us today, but also the process that has been put in place for some of the arms that are coming through our system and will be here soon as well.
Well, you just read my mind. I was going to ask you that about, do you see right now with your bullpen potential for some of the young guys? And I'll throw Riley O'Brien in the mix of somebody that could develop to be a back end guy. I mean, where do you stand right now? If not Helsley closing a game out, where do you see guys that you trust?
Yeah, I mean, it was tough to send Fernandez down, not because performance, like that makes sense, but from continue to work on some of the things that we saw last year in order for him to be a similar guy. I trust the fact that he'll have his head down and not complain and go down there and do what he needs to do to get back up here. But yeah, Riley is going to get an opportunity, and it's going to be on him to show the fact that one, he can get out to the big league levels, but two, stay healthy enough to go pole to pole and answer the bell when needed. So these are things that we're going to find out about together. We're going to give him the opportunity to come in a big spot like we did the other day, runners on. He's got to get Contreras out to get us off the field in that win. Those are the things that we're going to call on him for and see how that develops. But the opportunity is going to be given, that's for sure. Yeah.
And Ollie, I know that we were talking about runway for some of the younger players and then not wanting to watch them go somewhere else and then do really well and go, man, I wish they were still here. Do you feel like as a manager, you have the runway to allow them the runway? You know what I mean? Because there's always pressure to want to win right now.
I do feel confident in that, yes, just because of what's been communicated to me as far as what's important. And if what's important is having clarity on some of these guys when the season ends, then that's what the job is making sure that we stick to it. Like this morning I had breakfast with John Jay, and we're sitting there talking through our players, and it's such a positive conversation of what's next for some of these guys rather than souring on them and saying, gosh, I'm tired of seeing X, Y. No, man, like this, when you're on the stat, like you are so committed to just seeing them get better every day that you don't get caught up in the other stuff. Are there frustrating times? Do you want to win today? Yeah. Like that's the whole reason you get into sport is to win. Like there's no other reason. Like you want to shake hands at the end of every game, but you have to remember that you're building towards exactly that. And I'm confident that we're headed in that direction. I really am.
Ollie, let me, I'm going to pause for just a moment here. We need to get to a little breaking weather news real quick here. Maria Kina in the Weather Center.
Thank you, Chris. It's a tornado warning for Washington County, Missouri. A severe thunderstorm located along 8 miles southwest of Steelville to over Oates, or along a line from 8 miles southwest of Steelville to 23 miles west of Ironton. Now, this area of concern: Cuba, Potosi, Steelville, Bismarck, Anthony's Mill, Viburnum, Irondale, Mineral Point, Leesburg, Courtois, as well as Bixby, Cherryville, Oates, Old Mines, Bellevue, that's Bellevue, Caledonia, Shirley, Davisville, Laddie, and Dillard. This also includes the state parks, Onondaga, as well as Dillard Mill. Now, this area storm moving pretty quickly right now at about 40 miles per hour. But again, this is a tornado warning in effect right now for Washington County. If you're in that area, you should be seeking shelter immediately. Chris?
All right, Marina, appreciate it very much. Thank you for that. We have to break in when something like that happens because there are people in the listening area who are in the path of it. So we wanted to make sure we get that out there. Bernie, I know that you had a question you wanted to get to the manager, Oliver Marmol.
I just have one more, and it sort of gets back to where we started. You know, it's been really tough on the road, but not even just tough on the road. I mean, you're doing well at home. Don't get me wrong. But since that first homestand, your club's lost like 15 out of 23. My question is, when you have so many young guys, younger players in the lineup, but also, you know, some youth in your bullpen, some youth in your rotation, how do you and your staff, when things are going bad and these guys are getting knocked around a little bit, what do you do to help them sort of keep their confidence and, you know, not getting, you know, resigned to failure and not losing their confidence? How do you do that?
You're spot on. That is the job, Bernie. Like that is the job. So last night had the majority of the staff in my hotel room. We sat around, watched a little bit of the hockey game, and just talked baseball. Talked about the players, talked about exactly that. What you just mentioned is, hey, during a stretch where things aren't going well, how do you continue to instill winning habits, even though the end of the game doesn't go the way we want it to? And it's always good in those types of settings away from the field for guys to talk about that. Because is there frustration at times? Yeah, and you're able to vent and say what you need to say, but then it's like, how do we still instill this in Walker during a time that, man, he is just trying to survive? And a lot of it goes, we have to be consistent in how we show up every day. And the second they see me or any of my staff members second guessing the approach or the process that's in place, that's when you failed. So we have to be extremely consistent of coming in every day and making sure that we're bringing energy, that they know what to expect of us, and that we have a plan for them for that day. And then once that day's over, we are moving on to how to execute that the following day. And I will give my staff a ton of credit, man. They're doing a really good job. Like what John Jay has done for our group has been incredible, man. Descalzo and his planning has been really good. Dusty and his group. When you look at Libby and Palante and some of these guys that are like, I give them a lot of credit in how they're collaborating together with the player to instill this confidence in them, even when things don't go well. And then Brent Brown, he is a preparation maniac. I mean, I love the habits that he's instilling in our guys, and we'll see it over time. There's going to be periods like right now where you're saying, man, what's the identity of the offense? I'm confident in the identity of our offense. Now, is it showing up every day the way we'd want it to? It's not. But you just asked the question that is the key to all of this. And it's during this period where we're going through what we're going through, the staff making sure that they're instilling winning habits and that culture into that is the gig.
Just one quick lineup thing here. Joseph is watching on YouTube and wants to know about
Joseph's on to something right here.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So Win or Scott up in the
Joseph,
lineup like number 2.
Joseph, that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to throw Mason in the 2 spot. Newt's going to lead off. Win will hit second. Donnie's going to hit third. We'll keep Nato in the 4, and then we'll add Wilson in that 5 spot to protect Noel. And just inject a little speed and energy in that 2 spot and just a different look. If you look at Mason over the last couple of weeks, he's done a really nice job. The last 2 weeks, he's hitting close to 300, 750 up. Like he's putting together some good at bats. And I think he kind of enjoys being at the top of that lineup. So we'll give him an opportunity for that. But yeah, good question.
All right, Bernie. We appreciate you. Tom Ackerman, appreciate you. And I don't appreciate myself too much, but Oliver Marmol, we love that you hang out with us for a good 30-40 minutes here on Tuesdays. It's always a lot of fun and informative, and thank you for doing it. And we'll talk to you next week.
All right, sounds good. Let Jay Lee know I love him too.
Jay is
Jay Lee there. Yeah,
Jay, the bad managing. He says, yeah, there you go.
Love that guy.
Yeah.
All right, see you, boys.
See ya.
Thanks, Ollie.
Ollie Marmol. Tonight, the Cardinals will play. It will be a 4:45 pregame show, 5:40 first pitch, and it will be right here on 104.1 FM KMOX.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. The winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley telling you about i3 Broadband. It might be time for you to go ahead and switch out your internet. It was amazing when the Pauley household brought in i3 Broadband. The speeds are so much faster. We're saving a few dollars. The service is fantastic. I never have to worry, a storm is coming in. I wonder if my internet's going to go out. They've got local service centers in St. Charles County and the Metro East. It is St. Louis people who are working for i3 Broadband. See if they're available in your neighborhood. Check them out. i3broadband.com.
Community America is stepping up in St. Louis and showing what excellence in banking looks like. Or in other words, they're winning. Opening more branches? Win. Competitive loan rates? Win. Wealth management? Win. Which now makes sense why they asked me, Cardinal shortstop Mason Wynn, to tell you. That's win with 2 N's, not 1. It's time to bank like the Mason winner you are. It's time your financial partner was invested in you. Member owned, open to all. Community America Credit Union, invested in you.
Need a lawyer? Onder wins. Call Onder Law at 314-9-million. That's 314-9 all zeros. Or go to onderwins.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
The following heartwarming yet informative scene is brought to you by Trust and Will.
Son, your grandpa and I used to work on this car together, and when I'm gone, I want you to have it.
Wow. Thanks, Dad. Doesn't count. What you need is a will. Luckily, Trust and Will makes it easy. Designed by attorneys, but customized by you, you can easily create a state-specific, legally valid document that actually counts. Now, let's let the engine do the talking, am I right? Start your will at trustandwill.com. Use offer code COUNT for 20% off and make it count. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. For details, see trustandwill.com.
A tornado warning continues to be in effect for Potosi, Mineral Point, and Old Mines. That will run through 1:15. Rain is coming down in the area. Severe thunderstorm watch in effect for the rest of the area through 3 o'clock today.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan of McKelvey Homes. Have you always wished for a brand new home in an established neighborhood? Select one of our move-in ready custom homes throughout St. Louis, or we will build on your lot. Visit McKelveyhomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit lance.drurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Now, back to the Gashouse Gang on your home of the St. Louis Cardinals. 11:20 a.m., 104.1 FM, KMOX.
There's nothing to point at from a preparation standpoint, from a player standpoint, where there's something indicating why we should not have success on the road. It's just baseball being baseball in a small sample, and we'll keep rolling.
Gashouse Gang brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. That's the voice of manager Oliver Marmol, who joins us on Tuesdays at 12 o'clock. He spends about 35 or so minutes with us here. And the first thing we talk to him about, guys, Bernie Miklasz, Tom Ackerman, Chris Ranji, is the road woes for them. They are now 2-12 away from Busch Stadium. So we're not, entirely through the month of April just yet. And that could even out and probably will as the season goes on. But I'm not sure there is a real reason they haven't won away from home other than like maybe they've played some good teams. But still, they should be beating some of them, I think. Right, Bernie?
Yeah, I agree. They have played a lot of, 1-run, 2-run, 3-run games on the road. I think a lot of it has to do them losing so many of those tight games, which are kind of tipping point games, because if you win 3 or 4 of those, your record on the road looks a lot better. It's not great, but it looks a lot better. But the problem is the Cardinals went into Cincinnati last night with the worst bullpen ERA on the road in the majors this year. And it was really, really bad. It wasn't just like a 4.80 ERA. I forget it at the moment. Even I can't get. So anyway, but their road bullpen ERA was like somewhere in the 7s, and just they lost so many games because the bullpen got blown up in the final 3 innings before he could get Helsley into the game. I think that's a big part of it. But the other thing, too, is that, the offense has been terrible on the road, and it doesn't make a lot of sense because the Cardinals actually have a really good offense at home. And usually Busch Stadium doesn't play in favor of the hitters. I don't know why the Cardinals are so awful offensively on the road. Now, that said, it's 14 games. It's, they're going to have 81 games to go with this. But that would be part of the issue too. If they would erupt for more runs on the road, they might be able to win games where their bullpen isn't great, but that's not happening.
I agree. I mean, they have a 5.94 ERA on the road. I mean, it really does start with pitching to me, and I thought you nailed it, Bernie. I can't explain the offense. You know, they're going to play in some parks. So they used to kill Cincinnati in that ballpark. I mean, it's a little ballpark. We used to joke that it was Great American Small Park, and they would crush there. I do think it comes down to the bullpen and the fact that he won't use Helsley in the ninth in a tie game, although Helsley gave up a bomb at home. But still, I mean, this is one of the explanations is that right there to me. But the other is just, a head scratcher. Why is this team so good at home? And by the way, the team probably isn't that good to be 10-5 at home and not that bad to be 2-12. It's probably somewhere in the middle. I really think they're kind of a 500 ball club, to be honest with you, that's just sort of figuring it out. And it's bad if you're counting wins and losses and hoping this team can contend for a shot in the playoffs. If you're looking at the long term, like I am, and I've tried to do this just for my own mental health, to be able to look at all these players and say, who's getting better, who's learning on the job. But it's hard, man. I mean, it's no fun to lose. You don't want to lose this way. Bernie, let me ask you, I thought that you were going down the right path there on the Reds adding with Lux and Trevino and who else did you mention there? Anyway, that trio that was right on the money. I mean,
Hayes,
Austin
Hayes,
Hayes. The Pirates missed the boat here on trying to add more, although the rotation's good. But man, I really think this division. How do you see if the Cardinals are trying to ramp up? Do you see other teams ahead of them on that path as we look right now in the future? How do you see the Central, Bernie, kind of developing here over the next few years?
Tom, I really don't know about the next few years because I'd love to, me, man, I'd love to answer the question in depth, but I don't know where the Cardinals are going in terms of their timetable.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Cardinals under Chaim Bloom may actually go with a more aggressive rebuild. I just don't know. I don't know what the plan will be because they're going to have a new baseball leader after the season. But I tell you what, Cincinnati is very well positioned because they just hired a Hall of Fame manager in Terry Francona. And if I could tell you just two quick things on that. Last year, that team was minus 30 in defensive runs saved. They were 29th or 30th. Just awful. And they also they lost more runners on the bases than any team. They're fast, but they were really undisciplined. He went to spring training and Terry Francona said, we're just going to work on defense and we're going to work on base running. That's what this camp's all about. And the Reds are now above average defensively with the same players. And they're a really good base running team in that they create havoc, but they're not getting thrown out all the time. So that's a Hall of Fame manager making that team better immediately. And the other thing is that they're really, really hot. They've won 5 in a row, and they lost their first 4 games. So if you look at their record, what have they won? Like 13 out of their last 18 or something like that. They're playing really, really good ball, and they're 1 game behind the Cubs. So I kind of laugh when I almost see, people like looking down on the Reds or something. What are you looking down on?
Oh, that's me. You're talking to me.
Well, they got Terry Francona as a manager.
That's right. So,
and he's excellent, and he's cleaned it up, and they're playing much better quality of baseball.
Yeah, I don't give them enough credit. I probably should, and I'm guessing I'm wrong about sort of dismissing them coming into the season as a team that's pretty young, and that's good, but they won't do enough. And because they historically have not done enough to supplement their talent, just like Pittsburgh has. And their owner,
they did this year. They brought 3 new guys to the lineup.
You're right. They did do it this year. They typically don't. But when you've got an owner or a team president basically telling fans that they should be happy and thankful that the team is in Cincinnati and not somewhere else, you're basically telling them we don't care. But you're right about the hiring of Francona. You do that, and he accepts that job. Probably not to teach young guys, but he accepts it because he thinks he has another chance to win before he retires. That's my guess. So I'm sure I'm not giving them enough credit, and I'm probably definitely wrong.
They had a lot of talent already, and then they went out and added to it. And then you bring in there's very few managers in this day and age who are real difference makers. They're all facilitators, but Terry Francona is like a manager. Yeah. He's great. He's great at what he does. So I think they're a really good team, and I think they're only going to get better because they're just going to play really good ball. the last few years under David Bell, who's a nice guy, the Reds were just awful. I mean, just all the fundamental baseball, just a really, really stupid team. They're not a stupid team under Terry Francona. They're only going to get smarter.
No, they really disappointed me. I thought they and the Cardinals were going to be challengers in the NL Central last year. I thought the Cardinals could turn some things around. I thought the Reds would, and the Brewers ended up passing them both.
Yeah, and that's a team I always discount too, and I'm always wrong about them. Bernie, as we hit the break, tell everybody about our friends at Saliga, would you?
I'd be happy to do it. Saliga has been with us, the Miklas family, for 16, 17 years, and they've been serving St. Louis family since 1927. Dan Saliga is the fourth owner, operator of the family business. And now Saliga has Daikin heating and air conditioning equipment for you. And I'm going to talk to you about that very briefly because it might be difficult for you to understand, but they're using a refrigerant which is used worldwide compared to what's been used here primarily in the United States. And what's been used here in the United States has now been banned in several countries because this new system that they have, their heating and air conditioning equipment from Daikin, it's basically safer. It doesn't have stuff in the chemicals that might not be optimal. So I think, again, Dan Saliga is on it. So he made the change, and I think it makes Saliga even better and better and better and better. But they'll take care of anything you need. Check into the Priority Club. It's a maintenance program that has saved us money through the years. It's worth every nickel you spend because they fix little problems. They did that for us the other day before it can become a big problem. Just through a maintenance check, they saw a little something, they took care of it, problem solved, no worries. So it'll extend the life of your equipment. So Saliga Heating and Cooling, take a look at all this stuff, 314-481-7333, or go to SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. You can trust them. They're excellent at what they do, and they've got the track record to prove it. Saliga Heating and Cooling.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler for Supplement Superstores. And look, I've been a customer of theirs since 2013, and there's a reason for that. Supplement Superstores is the best. They are always on the cutting edge of science, so when they find better products, that's what they work with. And they also have the best people. All of the employees at Supplement Superstores are certified sports nutrition specialists and personal trainers. So they'll work with you to build a simple eating plan and workout routine that fit your goals. And by the way, they do that for free. So to find your Supplement Superstores location and get started down your path to success, go to supplementsuperstores.com.
The Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup is coming back to St. Louis on May 7th. Join us at Energizer Park for the round of 32 as St. Louis City SC hosts Union Omaha and plays for the historic trophy. Get tickets now at stlcitysc.com/Open Cup.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Johns Hopkins University has found that just mild hearing loss doubles your risk of dementia, so hearing loss isn't something to ignore.
But hearing aids are so expensive and ugly.
Not anymore. Meet Audien Hearing. You can get nearly invisible hearing aids without a prescription starting at $98 a pair, and they're ready to use right out of the box. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, and with over 1 million customers, Audien is easy to trust. Visit audienhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
I'm Danny Cohn, President and CEO of the Jewish Federation of St. Louis. This past week, the Jewish holiday of Yom HaShoah commemorated the 80th anniversary of the Holocaust and remembered the 6 million Jews who were murdered by the Nazis in World War II. As Jews, when we recall the atrocities of the Holocaust, we say, never again. This is not a slogan or a tagline. It's a responsibility we all share to prevent the systematic hatred from going unchecked. When we work together to fight against prejudice and bigotry towards everyone, we create a better community for everyone.
Hi, my name is Christina Straight, the owner of Straight Realty, and I'm asking you, what do you want in a realtor? Do you want experience? I've been a broker for over 21 years. Do you want to know how much I've sold? I've sold over $500 million, yes, $1 billion with a B, in sales. Do you want value? I now list properties for only 2%. So if you're looking for all these things and want the best, then call me 314-441-4444. Why pay more than $2? You can also listen to my podcast on my website, straightrealty.com.
Commissions are not regulated and unenforceable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
You had a solid retirement dream, sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. What if you could bank that equity right now? With TrueHold, you can sell your home for its current value so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. TrueHold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since TrueHold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit TrueHold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours. Based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's TrueHold.com.
Tonight, the Cards, the Reds.
Ameren Total Access 445.
Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Oh, you don't love giving up that many goals, but we're 2-2 in the series. Well, that's all that matters, winning the next one.
That is Winnipeg Jets goaltender Connor Hellebuyck, who had a really rough time in St. Louis. The series is tied at 2. Game 5 is tomorrow. Bernie Miklasz, Tom Ackerman, Chris Ranji on the Gashouse Gang for just about a minute longer. And Bernie, well, what are we thinking for Game 5 tomorrow in Winnipeg?
Well, the Blues are going to have to get one game up there. I'd love to see him do it tomorrow. Listen, Connor Hellebuyck is a huge story in this series because he's a great regular season goalie, but we've seen this in St. Louis a lot through the decades. It doesn't matter how great you are in the regular season. The playoffs are an entirely different season. Hellebuyck's a really poor postseason goaltender. Their last 18 postseason games, he's 4-14, and his save percentage is like 870 something. I mean, Binnington is the money goaltender in this series. Binnington is the guy that has shown he can carry a team to the Stanley Cup, and it was Binnington who outplayed Hellebuyck in the Four Nations final. And so this is a huge advantage for the Blues. It's a huge advantage for the Blues. They can't afford to blow it by maybe messing up with some of the other areas of their play.
It's a must-win for the Jets. Can't come back here down 3-2. And I felt like Bernie and Chris, before we go, that Connor Hellebuyck was almost like trying to convince himself that this was going to happen. Like when you listen to him, it was like he was trying to tell himself what he wanted to happen. All the best to him, but I'll tell you, the Blues are coming, baby.
Well, it'll be Tom Ackerman and me tomorrow on the Gashouse Gang. We'll be joined by Pat Maroon at 12:15. Stephen Piscotty is going to join the show at 12:30 as well, our old friend.
All right.
Stephen Piscotty. It's going to be a fun one. Bernie, you and I will be back on. No, actually, there is no Gashouse on Thursday.
No,
because
day baseball.
There's day baseball on
Got
Thursday.
some day ball. All right.
So we'll see you soon. Bernie Miklasz.
All right, buddy.
Take care. Tom Ackerman, Chris Ranji. This has been the Gashouse Gang. The podcast will be on the Odyssey app. Go look for it. All you have to do is search Gashouse Gang, and you will find it if you missed the conversation with Oliver Marmol. Also, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. You can go catch it there as well. We'll be back with you tomorrow at 12 on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Farming's hard. To feed the world, farmers have to work the land, brave the elements,